So I had 25 years of experience in the semiconductor industry, selling computer chips, mostly with AMD, or Advanced Micro Devices, and I spent some time working for Dell, and also a company named Mellanox. And my background educationally, I'm a mechanical engineer and with an MBA. And I went into the semiconductor business, spent 25 years there, and then I found this opportunity and decided this was what I wanted to do. So I have always been a music fan. I collect guitars. I've hosted a music concert series in my house for 10 years. And I have a daughter who's a very accomplished musician. One of our musician friends named Eric Taylor actually loaned my daughter an older Gibson guitar to inspire her. And he loaned it to me to her in his old Calton case that he traveled with for 14 years. And we have the case here. I'll show it to you in a moment. That case had 2 broken latches, and after it was in my house for 1 year, I decided I was going to fix it. So I set out to find latches, and the pursuit of those latches actually led me to Canada and then on to England to Keith Calton. And by the time I was speaking with Keith, I knew there was an opportunity to bring Calton back in North America, and so the conversation became bringing Calton back to North America rather than latches. And so, but that case actually was the reason that I got in touch with Keith Calton initially. And when I approached Keith, historically, Calton has operated under license for North America. And I approached Keith about a new license operation, and he said that no, he had been doing this for 45 years and he was ready to sell the company rather than a license arrangement. And so we went through the negotiations, and in June of 2013 we signed a contract for the sale of the company. And we started production here in Austin in September of 2013. Would you like for me to show the old case? This is the case that's responsible for my engaging with Calton cases. This belongs to Eric Taylor. Blue Ruby Music is his label. And Eric traveled with this case. He bought it new in the early 90s and traveled with it for about 15 years. And he wasn't traveling with it because it had 2 broken latches when I got it. And I set out to repair those latches, and that ultimately led to the contact with Keith Calton, which ultimately led to my buying Calton cases and moving it to Austin. So, and Eric got our first production case for his guitar. And the only condition I gave him was he had to give me the old case so I could keep it for posterity. And in the course of discussing the transaction with Keith, I actually, in October of 2012, I thought, well, we can't finish this by email and telephone, so I actually went to London and spent 10 days with Keith in his shop, learning how to build the cases, seeing how they were built to improve my understanding. And that was key to making the deal happen, was actually going to visit with Keith. So I've had hands-on training from Keith Calton. We actually still have a formal relationship. As part of our contract, Keith is with the company for 2 years, so another year he'll still be with us. So we consult with him regularly, and anytime there's something new that we haven't done before, the first thing we do is call Keith. We have Skype sessions with him so that he can help us and give us guidance. You know, he has 45 years of experience and he's seen everything. So he's been incredibly valuable to us. So it's a very friendly relationship, and we speak frequently, several times per week still. And by the way, Keith is very, very happy with what we're doing. He's now seen our cases, and he thinks he's actually told the customer that we're building better cases than he did, which is very rewarding for me, of course. And since we've started here, I could talk a little about, okay, now, you know, we started up here. We started in the shop with just Jeff, my partner, and I, and by the end of 2013, we were building about 5 to 7 cases per week at the end of 2013. And we had about 6 people. And we now have 14 people, and we're building 20 to 25 cases per week. So we've really ramped our volume up, and we've shipped over 800 cases now since we started. Yeah. When I got the company, Keith had already done the updated designs on the Dreadnought, the Jumbo, the Mandolin, and the Banjo. Those four. Everything else was still older designs. So when it was time to do, for example, the OM case, Jeff and I decided rather than start with the old design, we didn't want to do that, and so we actually had a high-resolution 3D scan made of the Dreadnought case so that we could capture the design, and then we had that converted into a scalable CAD model. And for example, with the OM, we scaled it to the proper size for the OM case, but with the new design intact, and used a CNC machine to carve out the new plug and make the new mold. And then we repeated that process for every other case in the lineup. So we've never made a case with the old design. Every time when it was time to do the classical case, we repeated the process. We scaled the CAD model, made a new plug on the CNC machine, made a new mold, and started with the new design from the beginning. With the classical, the OM, the Super Jumbo, the Jumbo case, all of them. So everything is new, with Keith's approval. And we're also, I mentioned to you that we have added the electric case to the product line. That's a new product. We recently created what I call the modified Jumbo, because we found that the Jumbo case was the correct size for example, J200s and an SJ, but it was kind of the wrong shape because those guitars, the lower bouts are very rounded on those guitars. So we modified our Jumbo case for that more rounded profile, and now we have a separate case for the SJ style guitars. And part of the benefit of our design flexibility is that we can update designs like this and turn them around very quickly and put them into production when we see the need. So we also have mandolin cases in production, banjo cases. We've recently introduced for the electric guitar crowd a pedal board case. And we're continuing to expand. We're working on an electric bass case now with the new design. Also a violin case for early next year that we'll be introducing. So continuing to expand the product line. So the newer design with the round edges also has a more curved top, and that curved top is inherently stronger by design. The architecture is stronger, and so you can use less material and maintain strength. And so the cases are about 15% lighter than the old ones because of that. And then we do have improvements such as the catch surrounds. That's something that Keith was working on as the transaction was happening, and so the design was completed after I had purchased the company, but Keith went ahead and finished the design, and we put it into production in October of 2013 on all cases, the catch surrounds. And we've not had not one case returned with a broken latch since we implemented the catch surrounds. So it's a very, very nice addition to the cases. Standard on all our products. Well, I think that going back to the architecture and the idea that we can use, you know, our custom shape and architecture to really optimize for strength versus weight using fiberglass. And in our experience, even carbon fiber saves very little weight versus what we're doing with fiberglass, because I think we really do a nice job of optimizing it to keep the weight as low as we possibly can. And I actually believe that fiberglass is a superior material for a case versus carbon fiber because of impact resistance. Fiberglass will handle impact better than carbon fiber. Carbon wants to shatter under impact, where fiberglass has flexibility and it will give and tear rather than shatter, therefore absorbing energy and keeping any impact from getting to the instrument. The U.S., the Dreadnought is the most popular, and then the OM is right with it, and then mandolin, a lot of mandolin cases, yeah, and quite a few banjo cases. Those are the three most popular, though, are the Dreadnought, the OM, and the mandolin, and then it's a scatter for the rest. White is the most popular of all the colors, then black, and then red is the third most popular, and then again it's a scattering from there. We build a lot of the burgundy is popular, and our blue is very popular. Interiors, the red is very popular. I've just had to order more red material. Our velvet actually comes from Poland, so it's quite a process to order and get it here. Red is very popular. Burgundy, blue, those are the most popular colors. There are quite a few musicians. It's a bit difficult for me to say because I sell exclusively through dealers. So I don't see all of the end customers. I do hear from my dealers and get some idea of the customers out there. But I think that my customer profile looks much like the Collings customer profile. I really do. Most of my dealers are Collings dealers, or a good number of them are Collings dealers, and so I think the profiles are very similar, my customer base versus the Collings customer base. Well, Austin is paradise. Oh, well, I'm biased because I've lived here since 1981. So, no, Austin is my home. And so there was never a thought. Of course I was bringing it to Austin. It is a nice location, though. There's a good labor force here. A lot of, our cases are hand-built, and it's a very craft kind of an occupation. And so there are a lot of artists here in town, and we find that the artists make very good employees for doing the work we're doing. Very handcrafted, there's a lot of attention to detail, and they take a lot of pride in their work. And so we find the right kind of people here. It's a nice central location within the U.S. and North America. It's very easy to ship from here at reasonable rates to the entire country as well as internationally. And it's a very nice place to live. So, I lived here. I was fortunate to have found my partner Jeff, who owns the shop that we're in, and he's based here. So it was meant to be, is the way it feels. Plus, it's the music capital of the world. So it's a natural fit. I would just say that our cases, our value proposition for our customers is that while our cases are expensive, what I like to say is, they aren't expensive cases, they're inexpensive peace of mind, because our cases really are extremely strong, extremely durable. They tend to be lifetime purchases. Once you buy one, you'll use it for the life of your instrument, certainly. And every case is custom fitted for the instrument that's going in it, and you just can't beat the fit, you can't beat the quality, and you can't beat the protection of the Calton case.